Now you'll know that the top four of the best-selling models on Neo are the ES6, ET5 Touring, ET5 Mid-Sedan, and the EC6. These are the models that are selling over 80% or constituting over 80% of Neo's total sales on a month to month. Now the reason why I'm telling you this is because Neo just released, or we just got a breakdown from the deliveries of September, where we saw Neo delivering over 20,300, and I must say the ES6 continues doing exceptionally well together with the ET5, because as seen on the screen, the ES6 sold 7,901 units, which constituted to about 37.3% of Neo's total sales. These together with the ET5 Touring that contributed, or that sold 5,590, which was at 26.39% of Neo's total sales. Both these two models constituted to about 60% of Neo's total sales for the month of September, which is something that is exceptionally well, and it shows you the kind of good performance both of these cars are showing us. I mean, with the ET5 ES6, I know that ever since it was launched, from the first generation model of the ES6 has always been that model that does, or that is doing exceptionally well from the beginning. What comes as a surprise is the performance that we've been seeing from the ET5 Touring, especially knowing that when Neo made this model, they were making it primarily for Europe, but Europe, this model is not doing that well. EL6 remains to be that model that is doing so well in Europe. EL7 and EL8, ET5 Touring, it's not doing that well there. But in China, this model on Neo, it is the second best-selling models. I mean, over 5,500 units sold. This shows you of how good this car is and the kind of revenues that it will be generating Neo. I mean, the starting price of the ET5 Touring, it's around $42,000. It's the same price as the ET5 Mid-Sedan. Both those cars, price-wise, they are the same. And seeing, of course, ET5 Touring selling better than even the ET5 Mid-Sedan, it is something that is pretty exciting, because it is a model that usually does not perform well in the Chinese market, and seeing it performing this way, I think it is something that is pretty exciting. So this is what we saw from just these two models. We don't know how much the EC6 sold, we don't know how much the ET5 Mid-Sedan sold, but these two, that is the ES6 and the ET5 Touring, their sales combined for September constituted to about 60%, which I think the market has agreed that Neo needs to focus more, or put more work onto these models, because we don't want them to lose steam. We don't want them to lose the momentum which they have. And I think part of the reason they are selling this well is because, well, when you go to SUVs, the cheapest SUV you can buy from Neo is the ES6. When you go into, of course, sedans, including the ET5 Touring and the ET5 Mid-Sedan, they are the cheapest entry models, which is something that is pretty exciting. This shows you that a lot of people want to buy Neo cars, which is why, because these two models, ET5 Touring, ES6, are the cheapest models, it is for this reason that they are going for this model, because over and above all this beauty that we see onto this car, they've got top-notch technology, and who does not want to own a Neo car? This name carries a lot of weight, and I think I've told you before to say that even if I have got money, they put Onvo, they put Neo, I'm going for Neo, man, because Neo has become that name that whenever I think about the premium services, the premium car, I think about some of the things that Neo is doing. Battery swapping station, I think about services like that, which is just something that is pretty exciting. I know Onvo has got it, but I mean, let's face it, Onvo just recently got launched, but with Neo, it has stood the test of time. It has been existing for quite some time and has proven time and time again that it is a top-notch quality car. I mean, the retention, I mean, I think today we got a report of the retention after a year, and Neo ES6 is the car it's one of the cars with most retention. I think it's 74%, which shows you that this car, it is of top quality. This car, it is of course a car that is liked by those that are using this car, which chances are very high that we'll see it continuing to be like this, and the ET5 Touring will continue attracting more sales. I mean, one thing that we are seeing when it comes to all the women that are buying Neo cars, most of them, they are going for the ET5 Touring. It's the model that women are liking. I mean, every time I see the deliveries of NIO ET5 Touring, chances are high that it's women that are buying most of these cars or most of these ET5 Tourings, which sort of like makes sense because it is not that big car like the SUVs, but it's not small at the same time because it is quite spacious on the inside, which is something that is pretty exciting. I mean, we saw someone who's like 2 meters tall going inside the ET5 Touring or buying the ET5 Touring still sitting comfortable, which shows you that space, you cannot complain, though it might be the smallest maybe car in terms of capacity looking at the other NIO models or similar to that of the NIO ET5 mid sedan. This car is quite spacious, which is one of the things that make people to want to come and buy this car, because space it has, technology it has, beauty it has, and cherry on top, you get to enjoy the after sale services like battery swapping station. That's if you have subscribed to BAS or battery as a service, which entails you going to a battery swapping station. So I am happy about this. I am very excited. Tell me what you think. Blue sky is coming, and seeing these two models performing this way, I wonder how many sales we could see from this, because I think whatever we are seeing here is the most that NIO can deliver at the moment. Once the third factory kicks in, this model, I have no doubt that they will do even exceptionally well, and especially knowing that in 2023 on some of these models NIO will be launching the NT 3.0 cars, latest technology. It is something that is just so amazing, incredible, and we look forward to that. And with these new models will come more sales, right? So I think the future is bright. Blue sky is coming. Tell me what you think about this. As for me, when I read this, I think these are bullish, these are massive, and it shows you the kind of performance these two cars are pulling for NIO. I mean, like I said, when you add ET5 mid sedan and ES6, those four cars constitute over 80% of NIO's total sales, which shows you that NIO is doing a good job onto these four models, which is something that is pretty exciting. I mean, the other models that do not make this list, you know that they are over 400,000 RMB, and that is the ES7, EC7, ES8, and the ET7. All these cars are the most expensive cars that you can get from NIO, and it makes sense that the more cars are expensive, the more people won't be able to afford them, which is why these cars are usually selling, especially ET7, ES8, they are usually selling around 1,000 on a month to month, which sort of like makes sense because they don't come cheap, let's face it. So yeah, man, I'm happy, I'm excited. Tell me what you think about this. Don't forget to do your own due diligence so that at least you are comfortable as you are investing onto this stock. Blue sky is coming, long term will win. That's all from me, and God bless you all.